There's some more on there that Keith didn't mention that I have to mention, the fact that I was the general counsel for the Southern University system as well. Go Jags. Now we got a lot of Mississippi folks up in here, but go Jags. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to serve at the will of President Biden and my sorrow, Vice President Harris. It has been truly a transformative service to date, largely because going into rural development, I was very familiar with Farm Services Agency, very familiar with NRCS, but like many people that I've encountered in this role, they do not have a full grasp or understanding of what rural development does. And so it's been an education for me that I've quickly come up to speed on, but it's an education for everyone in the state of Louisiana and across the country as well as to who we are at rural development. And so the key things that I drive across the state, my staff would probably tell you I'm uber aggressive. I like to think I'm appropriately aggressive with educating people as to who we are at rural development and what we do. But then more importantly, it's education, it's access, it's opportunity, right? Because once you're educated about the different programs and the different products that we offer, then you have access. And with that access comes tremendous opportunity for people to have affordable housing in rural communities, opportunity for small businesses and rural businesses to be able to scale, build capacity, and grow, access capital, access grant opportunities that they may not know about. And then certainly for our communities, our rural communities, the breadbasket of America, if you will, the opportunity to grow themselves and to become sustainable and to build capacity within those communities. And we say this at Rural Development, and we really mean it, that we build communities from under the ground up. And when I say that, you've heard from Administrator Burke, water and sewer, infrastructure, fire stations, police equipment, schools, community centers, assisted living facilities, hospitals, you name it, we can build it. And we take that very seriously in Louisiana. And so when I was appointed to this position, we launched a very robust outreach program across the state of Louisiana. Somebody just told me, she's like, I've been trying to meet you for a year. I said, I don't know how you haven't, because I am everywhere and on demand, and so is my staff. And so many of you have had the opportunity to visit with Way and Chaston in the back at our rural development booth. And if you have not, I would invite you to do so. So who are we at Rural Development? We are housing, we are business and industry. Happy Cooperatives Month, by the way. It is National Cooperatives Month. And we are community facilities, and that's what we do. And how does that intersect with our minority businesses? How does that intersect with building community? How does that intersect with the opportunity for folks in rural communities to basically grow where they are planted? It intersects in every way. We are the economic driver for our rural communities. Just quickly, because I really want to get to the meat of it and then start our panel. Within our affordable housing space, our single family housing program, our multifamily housing program, absolutely tremendous program to create affordable housing and provide access to housing for our rural communities, either direct or guaranteed loans for homeowners looking to move into a house, multifamily. All of these are low interest loans and opportunities for our very low and median income families to have affordable living and affordable housing. What does that do? If you have an industry, you're going to need housing, because if you have an industry, you're going to need workers. Those workers are going to need a place to live. I'm working with a collaboration in North Louisiana. I spend a lot of time north of I-20. And if you're from Louisiana, you know why that is, because it is one of our most distressed populations in the country, not just Louisiana, in the country. And there are 3 communities up there who've identified the spirit of collaboration. One has a driving industry that is there where they require employees and it's well-paying jobs, but then the neighboring communities don't have housing. They don't have transportation. One doesn't have a grocery store. And so these 3 communities have come together to work to close those gaps. And they're using rural development as a driver to do that. And that's just one example of where we intersect in our rural communities in multiple ways. And so certainly affordable housing is key. One of the products that I like to always stress with affordable housing is the ability to put land into commerce by landowners. What we know about our housing crisis is that not only do we have a shortage of houses, but we also have land deserts as well, where you may have land that's locked, and the opportunity to put that land into commerce to create affordable housing with a site access loan lies within rural development affordable housing. And so if you have land, as many of you are, if not all of you in this room, are business owners, there's a tremendous opportunity there for you to be a driver in creating affordable housing in some of our rural communities by putting that land into commerce. This particular low interest loan with a 2-year repayment ability gives you the opportunity to put the infrastructure into that land. That's your streets, your electricity, your water, your sewer, your broadband, those different pieces that you need to create a community. And then qualified individuals through our rural development single family housing program at 50 or 51% for that community gets you in the door to create that access and to create that housing market in those communities. That's pivotal. The other piece that we really stress is our rural communities, our community facilities program. That ties in, certainly that's under rural utility services. It works with the ability for us to do water and sewer improvements in our communities, and also for us to expand that to rural healthcare and the ability to shore up our rural healthcare throughout the state of Louisiana. Just this past year, we cut the ribbon on 2 new hospitals, and we're able to provide, I believe, 11 different grant opportunities to rural hospitals and clinics so that they could shore up their services. And so community facilities is incredibly important in our rural communities, and the access to the capital grants and low interest loans for them to build those cities and keep them thriving. And then our rural business and cooperative services, we have some key pieces there. How many ag producers do we have in the room? Do we have any agricultural producers in the room? Yes? Okay, good. Well, if you're not one, maybe you know one. And this is important because when people look at rural development, they think two things. They think affordable housing and they think it's just rural. That people in urban areas don't have an opportunity to do business with us. They also think that certainly only rural businesses can do business with us. But that in fact is not true. And we also work with ag producers. Under our business programs, which Wei is our program director, so I really would encourage you to talk to him. We have opportunities to interact with ag producers. The Inflation Reduction Act is a tremendous vessel for funding for our small businesses as well as our ag producers across the country. What it does is it provides a grant opportunity up to 50% under our Rural Energy for America program and our Renewable Energy for America program. It's a 50% grant opportunity so that small businesses and ag producers can avail themselves of the energy efficiencies that they need on the front end so that they can make more on the back end. And that gives them an opportunity to put in necessary climate smart initiatives, energy efficiencies like lighting, like HVCs, like a piece of equipment that's 20 years old that costs them $10,000 every 8 months to fix, when they can go and buy a new piece of equipment that may qualify them for up to 50% grant opportunity on that. If it costs them $200,000, they can get it for $100,000. That will make their bottom line more significant and allow them to be more prosperous and make more on the back end again. So those energy efficiencies are very important. And the same goes for our ag producers. What I need our ag producers to understand, and Jackie and I had this conversation earlier, is that they're a business, right? And they need to operate as a business and think like a business and come to the table prepared to have those conversations so that they can avail themselves. Certainly, we have our value-added program that impacts agricultural producers as well, which is a tremendous opportunity. And so that being said, I think it's just really important, again, that we always understand that there's education, access, and opportunity that needs to be pushed out to everyone so that we can understand the products that are available to make businesses more sustainable. And even businesses that are located in an urban area can avail themselves of some of our programs if they're delivering services to rural areas, especially in the terms of food process and food delivery systems. So that's really important as well, to know that we're not just rural. We certainly have an avenue to work with businesses as well as ag producers. And under our rural businesses programs, when we talk about access to capital, we are talking about up to $25 million of availability of capital where you can work through our guaranteed program to grow and scale your business. So just tremendous opportunities there at rural development. And like I said, I travel everywhere. I go everywhere. I've been across this state many times with my staff, and we are willing to visit with any stakeholder, any individual anywhere across the state. We will go to you. You can come to us. We have 4 offices out in the region, 2 in the South, 1 in Lafayette, 1 in Amite. Of course, our state office is located in Alexandria, Louisiana. And then in North Louisiana, we have an office in Natchitoches and an office in Monroe. So how does that support minority businesses? It's incredible opportunity for access to capital, but it's also an incredible opportunity to serve others who work in this space. We have a socially disadvantaged group grant, which is available to entities that provide technical assistance to socially disadvantaged groups. It is underutilized in the state of Louisiana. And so I challenge people to think about collaborative working, what those co-ops look like. If you're an entity that can provide technical assistance to cooperatives that are operating here in the state of Louisiana that are identified as a socially disadvantaged group, then there may be an opportunity there for you to work with us as well and to grow those cooperatives. And I also challenge people across the state to think differently about cooperatives. A lot of folks that I encounter only identify cooperatives through agricultural spheres, but there are housing cooperatives, there are business cooperatives. As long as it's a socially disadvantaged group that's operating in that space, then they may be eligible. The other great thing about rural development that I will share is our technical assistance grants. Those are tremendous opportunities to help people get to the dollar. So once they're educated and they understand it, sometimes the application process can be daunting. And so technical assistance provides funding to third parties to be able to help navigate that system and make sure that those applications are done correctly. And so that when they get to rural development, there are no barriers to that. So, and technical assistance comes in many forms. It could be technical assistance and guidance on how to grow your business, develop your business, manage your business, and financial assistance as well. So all of that being said, because I know I'm standing between y'all in the afternoon, I want to bring up our panelists today. And I'm so very honored and thankful that Administrator Burke joined us today, and we're going to bring him back up here. But we're going to start with Jacqueline Davis. Like, I'll just tell y'all this: she's from Mississippi, and we're not going to hold that against her. No, Ms. Davis-Slay is an integral part of USDA and has worked with the agency for many years, but she serves as senior advisor for the United States Department of Agriculture, Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. And so her message today is incredibly important because she's going to talk to you about how you access USDA as a vendor or as a procurement partner and work with us and be able to utilize those strategies and maximize opportunities for small businesses to participate in our contracting process. I get that question all the time. So she's going to provide some guidance for us with that as well. And then certainly we have Administrator Burke, who is here in Louisiana with us, and he's going to bring comments as well about how MBAs can intersect and work with us and utilize our programs to their advantage. So we'll start with you, Jacqueline, if you would, if you want to just give us a little background and tell us about what your office does.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Normally, I don't need a mic. I am a Mississippian, and that voice carries. And Keith knows, he put me on a panel and he gave me about 15 minutes. He knows I love to talk. So I don't know why he did that. I even prepared a presentation for you all. As Deidre said, I am Jacqueline Davis-Slay. I am a senior advisor for the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, OSDBU, which you all heard from the Department of Energy. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to be quick so you can hear again from Andrew. I'm going to be quick, but I do have a couple of questions. How many of you all know agriculture, understand what the Department of Agriculture is and do? So I've got a few. I know we only have one producer. How many of you all are ready to do business, want to do business with the Department of Agriculture? How many of you all have your SAM number? So most of you all are ready. All right, so that's a great thing. But I'm going to just give you, so I think I saw about 4 hands that said they understood ag. So let me see if I can run. There we go. So agriculture, probably the most important federal department in this nation. And I'm not just saying that, because we provide leadership, food, natural resources, rural development, nutrition. So we make sure that everyone on this planet really has food access, because we do have a foreign ag service where we go international with policy development. And so we are known as the People's Department. And so you heard about that great mission area. It is not an agency. A lot of folks get confused that rural development is a mission area. There are 3 agencies within that mission area. And this is the economic development arm of USDA. But how we do this is we provide innovation, economic opportunity in the effort to help rural America to thrive through rural development. We do it by providing ag production opportunity. That's through the Natural Resources Conservation Service, Farm Service Agency. And I won't go into all of those agencies. We actually protect the nation's forests. You know, that's where a lot of our species, why people think, why forestry? That's where a lot of the species are. That's where you have clean air, clean water is impacted by our forests. Farmers are our primary customers, but we do a lot of other things. You know, as you heard from Deirdre, rural development, there are 29 agencies and offices at USDA. And rural development, when it comes to our business development, it's probably one of the most important ones because there are so many resources. I think over 70 programs that's available. But I sit at the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. This next slide is just going to give you a snapshot of some of the agencies that's available through, this is our org chart. And this slide talks about how we take that org chart, those agencies, those offices, and leverage them. I talk about USDA from 2 perspectives. We have programmatic opportunity, that's those loans, those grants, those incentive payments that are made for farmers and ranchers. But then we have a procurement side, and that's how we build business. That's those contracts. That's where you all want to be. That's where you want to function and operate. And so these are just some of the agencies, a snapshot of some of the agencies. I won't go through that. Through those slides. I'll go right here to my office, OZIBU. And so OZIBU, we are that office that link small businesses to USDA. But we not only work with USDA, we take and we leverage with the Small Business Administration, with MBDA, with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, with the Internal Revenue Service. And so our primary goal, our primary objective is to make sure that you, small businesses, have access to federal procurement opportunities. And that is a task. That is, I won't say it's difficult, but it is a process. And we do a lot of work. We work with a lot of different offices. We work with a lot of different federal departments. We work with Jamie and Zachary over at HUD. We work with Brenda and Harriet over at the IRS. We work with Terry Billups and Anna Marie and Ron Spencer at the SBA. We work with David Ramos and Cameron Doss at the FDIC. We bring in the Department of Labor. And that was just some of my core partners that we do it. But we take this office very, very serious at USDA because we're that link between you all and these small business opportunities that's available through the agency. So one of the ways that we do that, we provide you these opportunities that we develop and promote these strategies, outreach strategies. At OZIBU, we are now in a process, we've been implementing for about 2 years, this initiative called Path to Prosperity, where we're going across the country, really helping to train businesses on how to do business with the government. One of the barriers that we find with a lot of our business, as Deidre mentioned, they don't operate as businesses. They don't have a business plan. They don't have their SAMS number as you all do. They're not linked with the Internal Revenue Service. One of the most important features is that they do not have a relationship with a financial institution. And that's how Path to Prosperity, that initiative all formed. It started with the FDIC and the SBA and Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. I will try not to use acronym, and the Small Business Administration came together, talked about the Paycheck Protection Plan program, which a lot of our rural, minority, underserved businesses did not access, could not access, because first and foremost, they didn't have a relationship with a financial institution, something that a lot of us take for granted. But it is very, very important, and it is a true barrier for our small businesses. And of course, they had to bring in USDA because we are so special and we're different. One of the things about USDA is that we're local. We have offices in every county. So that means we're bottom up, locally led. We implement these programs that Deidre, some of the programs that Deidre talked about at the local level. So our funding, so they wanted to bring us in because of our outreach and because of our employees. The other part of it is that USDA provides so many services for small businesses. And so as we start discussing and we start bringing it together, that outreach that has been taking place, we've been in, I think, 15 cities. We make them regional. We will be coming to Arkansas in January. But I tell you, I did the analysis. I was working on the analysis last week to look at what took place in fiscal year 2023. In every place that we went to, the numbers of contracts increased. That's how effective we are. So we work with the Apex Accelerator. We work with the Small Business Development Center. We work with SCORE. We work with the Veteran Business Opportunity Centers, bringing the tools and resources through these outreach strategies to really help prepare you and get you ready to do business with the government. One of the other important pieces of OZIBU is that we work with the buying agencies that's available at USDA. We're meeting with them. We're connecting them with small businesses. I think I have Roland Powell here from Mississippi that we've connected with several of our buying agents. He's a chemical company, not promoting them, but he's one of those businesses that we're working with on a constant basis. And we are not limited to him. So anyone that really want to connect with USDA and the opportunities that they offer, please reach out to me and we will connect you, and I will connect you with those buying agencies that you can sell your product to, that you will be willing and wanting to sell your products to. I'll go through this. And so these are just some other ways that we, really help to serve small businesses. Now, this table, I think you heard from the Department of Energy that they did not meet their veteran goal and they did not meet their hub zone. So this is in 2021. USDA, I will tell you, has met its goal, even in 2021. And I was a statistician at first, so I like to do these trends and things. But if you see, back in 2021, 53% of the procurement made were to small businesses. And just look at those numbers. I won't go through them. This is 2022. This is how we've increased. So that's 1 year. We've increased the amount of procurement made from small businesses. This is 2023. This is the current number. And then this number will change. It may go up, or we may decrease. I doubt it. But as you see, last fiscal year in 2023, we purchased almost 69% of goods and services from small businesses. Hub zones increased. Women owned almost 12%. Servants disabled 5.4%. Small disadvantages 28.26. We knocked it out of the park. I believe, according to my supervisor who contacted me, he said we did better than any other federal department in the country in procuring from small businesses. And that is because of you, that's because of your interest, and that is because of the hard work that not just USDA does, but all of our federal departments coming together, bringing that outreach, bringing these measures, bringing these opportunities to you. These are just some of the buying agencies that we're Agriculture Marketing Service. That is our awarding agency. That is the food awarding agency. And it actually buys for the Food and Nutrition Service, and it provides it buys for AMS. And those are those food products we procure. Forest Service, that is our largest buying agency. I think I don't want to say it. I can't remember the exact amount, but I will let you know this next slide. Last year we spent $11.2 billion. That's how much goods and services that we purchase. Before, on average, we would purchase about $6 billion. In 2022, I think it was 9.6. This year we've gone up almost $2 billion, where we've purchased goods and services from businesses. Next slide. All right. Just a few of the products that we purchased. We purchased basically everything. I mean, airplanes, boats, because we do a lot of work. I mean, we all the way down to pen and paper. I think, Angela, what did you say? from pen to aircraft. Somebody said that from pen, it's the same way with USDA. One of the things that I do tell small businesses, listen, you don't have to try and get the big contracts. You don't have to go after those 10 million, those 20 millions. You can start small. Each federal agency has a purchasing card. I think the limit there is $10,000. That helps prepare you to go after the big ones. And guess what? You don't have to bid for those. So, you know, start small. Then also look at some of the subcontracting opportunity that's available. If you go on USA Spending, I have some QR codes here that I really want you all to link to. Go to your USA Spending. Google, do the search, look at some of those businesses, look at those businesses that have multi-year contract award, reach out to them if those contracts have not expired. This is where you as a small business and a business really can build that performance, because when you're going into the agencies, you really have to be ready to sell yourself to that agency, and selling yourself based on what that agency needs, not just what you want to provide. You really need to understand what these agencies are doing. Understand rural development and its mission area and what it's trying to accomplish, because a contract at rural development, a construction contract at rural development is going to look very different from a construction contract at the Natural Resources Conservation Service, because the mission, the vision, you know, the authorities are so different. So you can't come there with a general capability statement. You want to really be targeted when you come and sit down before these agencies. And this is just a snapshot of the things that we purchase. And so these are just some of our capacity, of course. We're the steward of 192 million acres. That means they're a contract. That's Forest Service. That is the agency that's the largest buying agency. Trash bags. I mean, all kinds of goods and services that we buy. Bring housing, modern telecommunication, and drinking water. I think Deidre Miller, some of the telecommunication opportunity that's available, not just through contracts, but also through loans and grants. I mean, so there are so many opportunities available at USDA. Really understand your NAICS code, you know, go and, you know, visit the North American Industry Classification System. You know, that's where you gather your NAICS codes. And, you know, you want to make sure when you're developing your capability statement, you want to include those NAICS codes on that capability statement. Then go take a look at these agencies utilizing their procurement forecast, looking at what they buy, and say, hey, I can perform within this NAICS code that you are offering. You know, I have done some work under this NAICS code. I can do this work. You know, share that. And so these are just some of the strategies. You know, you can sell to the government. It is a process. I will tell you, it is a process. And I captured some notes because I really wanted to this one, probably one of the final points. Doing your homework, I already talked about understand what the agency, but I really want our businesses to really manage themselves as this. You know, when I believe it was in Georgia, and I heard an SBDC use this acronym, he said the BEL. You know, I promote the BEL principle. And when I was in West Virginia, he said, well, it's not just BEL, it's BELS. And so things that small businesses, if you don't take anything home, write down BELS. Because one of the things that small businesses need to know, they need to have a banker. They need to have an accountant. They need to have insurance, an insurer. And they need to have a lawyer. And when I was in West Virginia, they said one more thing. You need to have social media, because this is where a lot of marketing is taking place. You got to know how to market your business. You got to understand who you are trying to sell to and what they're trying to accomplish. So, you know, that's it. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, these are some of our contacts.
Thank you, Jackie.
All righty.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Jackie and I were talking about that earlier. One of the things I stress to all of the businesses that I meet with is have your house in order and come to the table ready to access and discuss and make sure that you have BELS, all those different pieces in place, because you are running a business. And this is a perfect segue into our next panelist, Ms. Rice, who's with us from the Small Business Administration, to talk about access to capital for small businesses, but as well as ag producers and how they can work in that space with SBA. Ms. Rice?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name, of course, is Benita Benter Rice. I'm with the Small Business Administration here in Louisiana. It's nice to see some of you, and it's great meeting many of you. One of the things that we do at the Small Business Administration, really and truly, and we do it very well here, and that is to build small businesses. Not only do we help to build small businesses, we help them to find and hold on to lines of credits, meet bankers who are willing to loan them money, and even some other non-traditional bankers who are looking for a lot of you so that they can help you grow, increase your line of credit. And if you are in a kind of iffy situation, help you to clean that up so that you can, of course, grow and build a line of credit. That's all that it's about. And now that I think about it, we're talking about growing, right? So you with USDA, right? That's farming, right? And everything's got to grow.
And everything else. is
Right.
USDA.
And we looking at the paper, we're looking at your money, and we're looking how you're spending it and whether or not you're actually spending it. But we're trying to get you to let that paper grow, right? Get that paper to grow. And so that's really what we do it. And we do it through education. We have a massive amount of money going into the 7J fund. Now 7J fund, and I want you to understand how important it is for you. 7J fund is literally a master degree in federal contracting, a master degree in preparing proposals, and all that is needed for you to have accurate submittals to the government when you go to them and say, hey, I'd like to get a contract. Okay. And so with that level of knowledge, and let me tell you, we teach you how to put a proposal together. We teach you how to find the work. We teach you, it's about 20 different classes that we offer for entirely free. And I tell people all the time, I went to college, I have a master's degree, I have 2 master's degrees, actually 3. And then I also did contracting, and I never learned anything at all about the type of contracting that we do here within the government. And so it's all free for you to participate in. It's called 7J. It's regulatory funding, meaning that we can't take it away from you. The government has it there, and whether or not you use it, it's available. And if you don't use it, you lose it, because as it comes closer to the end of the year, the number of classes dwindle down. Okay, so that's one of the things that we offer you is the education, the knowledge. With knowledge, there is what? Power. Okay, so we want to empower you. The second thing we do, we offer tons of different loans. We offer, but we don't offer them 100%. Okay, so there's a margin where you're not going to be fully funded. Okay, but we want you to understand that we are funding you the majority of the way. And so we want you to know that if, in fact, at my table up there, I have a list of all the different loans that SBA offers. And not only SBA offers, again, let me remind you, USDA offers loans as well. And they do a very good job at it. In fact, I really like how you do it.
We are special.
They are special. Okay. And then in addition to that, we also open up lines of opportunity. So, and we make it fun. During the early part of summer, I kind of missed it because I wasn't feeling well, but we actually brought all the HBCUs together to learn about what we do, to learn how they can build businesses, okay, and also to have some fun. And that's how we incorporate everyone into the whole complex. We really do. We bring everybody together, and we really support all of the whole entire Louisiana. We really do that well because we get in our cars and we drive out to find you. All right. I have 33 firms of my own, and each of my partners have about 33 firms that we monitor. We make sure that they are staying on track. We make sure that they're meeting their goals. And if they don't know anything, they can pick up the phone at any time and get to know us and ask the questions. That's 33 firms. And we also measure them. We measure how they're doing. We measure whether or not they're reaching their goals, because that's important. And so I'm here to tell you that I've watched firms grow to multi-million dollars of company. You come in at $250K and you're leaving at 13 million. maybe even more. So there's opportunities there for you. I will encourage, I'm not from here, yes. And my parents were all business owners, yes. But when I was living with my parents, I never imagined that that could exist. I see it because I coach small businesses on how to do it. So I see it. And I'm telling you, if you're here, I'm sorry for you if you're here, but you know, you're not going to take advantage of it, right? But I'm happy for those who are here and want to take advantage of it. And so one of the ways they do it, and I'm going to go through it really quickly. Can I finish the sentence? Okay. One of the ways in which we do it is through the different certifications. Okay. And the one that I'm talking about that really moves you through it is the 80 certification. It's a 9-year program. So it's not just a certification. It's an institution, and we hold you to what you have to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. And you can visit Ms. Rice's table. So just to close us out real quick, Administrator Burke, any final thoughts from you on engagement? From your perspective as being a local leader, a state leader, and a national leader as well.
So let me just say a couple of things. Number one is I noticed that all the numbers jumped when I joined USDA, Jackie. So is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence?
course.
This Jackie's the expert, always has all the information. I don't want to repeat anything that she said. I would only note a couple of things. Number one is when those numbers came out, we really celebrated. I could say that as a leadership team at USDA, from the secretary on down, the secretary's leadership team, we all celebrated those numbers. That was a great to see. I'm very proud of the numbers that Jackie showed up there. And I'll just say this from a experience level is every time that we engage a service, and I don't have much of that process, but the first thing that we do when we go to procurement is that people say, how can we get a diverse or small business contractor in here? And that's what leads to those numbers. I'm very proud. And Jackie is a huge piece of that. I'll also give lots of credit to the secretary, Tom Vilsack and their leadership team for making sure that we do that. The last thing, just as a local leader who's, when I was mayor, we tried every year, we sat down, we looked at these numbers, we tried to make sure that we were doing everything humanly possible. My free advice that nobody wants is focus on something. There's so much stuff going on, and there's so much money that is out there. Jackie showed you these unbelievable numbers, but focusing in, really deciding what value you bring, where you can do something, trying not to hit the home run at the beginning, because the longer that you work with any government, this is not just federal government. I've been at the state level, I've been at the local level. The longer that you work with people, you're gonna walk up that ladder. You're gonna keep going up that ladder. And so focusing in, rather than trying to take advantage of everything, try to figure out those places where you can add some value, going after it, getting what you can get, being persistent, and then walking up the ladder. That's really what I would advise.
Thank you, Administrator Burke. And we'll just close out with that. This is what I tell everyone I meet with. Do what you do well and focus on it and master it, and come to the table with your house in order, your business ready. Don't give anyone a stick to hit you with, so that there are no speed bumps once that application hits our door. And the time is now. We are witnessing and living in historical funding thanks to the Biden-Harris administration. But like Andy said, we're not going to build these projects. They'll get built long after we're gone, but the money is here now. And so you have to access it now, because everything, as we know, has an expiration date. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Keith, and to the IAEOZ conference for having us.